A girl shouted loudly. Magic will make the whole world shine. At that moment, on stage, the incredibly beautiful girl raised her hand high. Hello, we are the Whiz Girls. Seeing them, all the men below the stage wept with joy. A girl group that debuted through a famous survival show, they were now quickly dancing on stage. They rapidly caused a sensation and became famous both domestically and internationally. And the most beloved and famous member, accordingly, a beautiful girl, appeared in the new Global Star magazine. The world's top star, an exclusive interview, and then a series of images of this group appeared on buildings. The golden voice, the leader of Whiz Girls, Ari Lee, 17 years old, was incredibly beautiful on stage at that moment. Elsewhere, on a computer screen, Ari's incredibly beautiful image appeared. Someone sat in front of the computer, staring intently. This person's expression was somewhat melancholic, their skin wrinkled, seemingly aged. While she was sitting quietly, a hand reached out from somewhere and moved her utensils. After arranging them, Daegun also put on his backpack and went out. "Mom, eat something, please," he said, then bowed his head and walked out with a dark expression. As you go, you rest, he thought. His younger sister, Ari, also reached out and grasped the doorknob. At that moment, the expression on his face was incredibly terrifying, his hand clenched tightly, screaming in his heart, "My only one." Right then, he remembered the past, when Ari Lee, suitcase in hand, had just returned home. Daegun narrated, "My little sister from the company dormitory and returned home 3 months ago. When she returned home, all three of us sat together in one place. Officially, it was due to the members' health issues, but at that time, Daegun looked more closely at Ari's trembling body and understood inwardly. In reality, it was because of many suspicions and false information stirred up on YouTube. Then, on the TV screen, Ari's image appeared with the headline, "Entertainment Industry Polluted by School Violence. Famous girl group member Ari Lee shocked by school bullying allegations." Reading those lines, this young man continued, "On TV, false news about my sister was reported as if it were true." Then, on his phone, the exact same news appeared. Especially on YouTube, there were accusations of school violence, even banned substances, unimaginable things. At this moment, seeing her brother watching those videos, Ari sat behind him, her face dark and aggrieved. "Brother, I really didn't do it." Hearing this, Daegun immediately pressed the power button on his phone and gently replied, "I know. Of course you didn't." Then, Ari sat quietly and cried. Looking at her, Daegun thought, if our family stays strong together. Day by day, Ari hugged her mother tighter and cried more violently. "I thought we could overcome everything." The scene shifted to a deserted school. However, in a classroom at this school, some male students sat looking at each other, laughing loudly. The classroom door slowly opened. Daegun's narration resumed. The moment you stepped into the classroom, all the male students in here turned to look at you with unfriendly expressions. At this moment, Daegun's eyes were a little uncomfortable. No one believed Ari's words. But ignoring them all, Daegun confidently walked inside. Reaching his desk, he threw his backpack onto it and continued. "They want to believe the fabrications on YouTube." After sitting down, his desk mate looked over, clearly uncomfortable. Sensing this discomfort, Daegun spoke up, "If you feel uncomfortable, you don't have to greet me." As if caught, the desk mate startled. "Huh? Oh." Just then, the delinquent students of class 3-2, Kwak Jidi and Hamdakian, appeared, teasing Daegun. "Good morning, an absolutely wonderful morning." Then, this guy bowed his head, pouting his lips to tease. "Hey, your sister is pretty awesome, huh?" Hearing him mention her, Daegun got a bit annoyed. Get lost. Seeing himself shoot away like that, the two still brazenly stood there. Get lost? What's with the celebrity attitude already? Celebrity attitude, my ass. Haha. Next, Kwak Jidi leaned down slightly, a provocative smile on his face. "Hey, because people recognize your face, you feel like a celebrity? Huh?" At this, he laughed again. "Or is it not enough?" His voice continued to ring out. "Do you have to be in the news like your sister to feel satisfied?" Hearing this, Daegun's face contorted with immense anger, his hand clenching his backpack. But Daegun still restrained himself, bowing his head and replying, "Shut up." Kwak Jidi remained stubborn. "Oh, look at this guy's eyes. Change color, huh?" He maintained a confident expression, hand on his forehead, continuing, "Good. I'm also very curious about your sister. Give me her number. I'm qualified, right?" At this, Daegun's hand gripped the backpack even tighter, making his desk mate somewhat fearful. But Kwak GD still hadn't realized, continuing relentlessly. Ah, or is it because she's a celebrity that I can't get her number that easily? Right, your family is in dire straits, aren't they? In the classroom, the surrounding students also began to get anxious, turning to look. Kwak GD's voice continued like music. I saw on YouTube that you have to pay contract termination fees to the company. Your mom works at a supermarket. She probably can't afford it. Ha ha ha. His voice still rang out. Or how about letting your sister earn money instead? At this moment, unable to bear it any longer, Daegun stood up, teeth clenched, his face furious. He then reached out and grabbed Kwak GD's collar. Facing him, he roared with all his might. I told you to shut up. Seeing him resist, Kwak GD grabbed Daegun's collar in return, making him tremble. Oh, this guy's got guts, huh? Ha ha. At this moment, Kwak GD's face was veined, his tongue darting out to lick his lips a few times. So, what's Ari's phone number? But still resisting, Daegun grabbed his hair and cursed back. Shut your damn mouth. Being treated like this, Kwak GD didn't back down either, raising his fist. What the hell, you dog? And just like that, Kwak GD threw a punch straight at Daegun's face. But at this moment, Kwak GD was somewhat surprised. It turned out that at that instant, Daegun quickly ducked his head, causing Kwak GD to miss. Then, Daegun tightened his grip on his collar even more, and with all his strength, headbutted him straight in the face, causing blood to splatter. After being hit, Kwak GD was also dazed, stumbling backward. Ugh. Finished, Daegun panted heavily. Seeing this, Hamdakian stood there, teasing. Wow, you useless big guy. You really are just big, haha. Being humiliated like that, Kwak GD raised his hand to his face and cursed back, Shut up, you pig. Then Kwak GD, blood dripping from his nose, his face growing angrier. Damn it, today, I have to deal with that guy. Suddenly, a voice rang out, Stop it. Seeing this, both of them stood still, looking towards the door. But ignoring it, as his anger exploded, Daegun shouted loudly, What did my mom and my sister do wrong for you guys to treat them like this? Seeing this, the other guy angrily cursed back, Like mother, like son, you dog. At this moment, the footsteps of the red-haired young man approached, sighing, walking slowly. Minji's face was slightly dark. You've really crossed the line. Hearing this, Kwak GD gritted his teeth stubbornly. We need to teach those with criminals in their family a lesson. Then, Minjae, after stepping forward, slapped him. I'm talking to you. Seeing this scene, Daegun and his desk mate were both stunned, and everyone in the class froze, not understanding what was happening. It turned out this red-haired young man was the top delinquent of class 3-2, Joe Minjae. At this moment, he frowned slightly and cursed. I told you to stop. Do you want me to repeat myself, you idiot? Having been slapped, Kwak GD still didn't understand the situation and frowned. Seeing this attitude, Minjae asked again, Oh, Kwak GD, what's with that expression? Then, Minjae began to explain Kwak GD's current situation. People misunderstand. I'm helping you, you know. Your family is very poor, right? At this point, Kwak GD was somewhat humiliated, biting his lip. You shut up. Joe Minji's voice continued. You have no money to compensate, but you still like to hit people. Remember, it's because of me that you saved money. Shouldn't you be thanking me? At this, Kwak GD, as if furious, bit his lip hard, his whole body trembling. Seeing him silent, Joe Minjae, his face serious as if angry, ordered, Answer me immediately. Kwak GD tilted his bruised face to the sky and laughed loudly. Yes, of course. I'm always grateful to you. Minjae heard this, and both turned to walk out the door. As Minjae walked, he said confidently with a smile, Good. Since you know, go to the store and buy some stuff. Following behind, Kwak GD replied, Because I'm grateful, I'll pay. Remaining in the classroom, Daegun looked on with some concern. But then, realizing something, Daegun's eyes widened in horror. Minji's eyes and face as he walked with Kwak GD were like a demon's. Daegun's face darkened, and he stood still for a long time. A while later, the scene of this school appeared, and then he safely returned home. I'm home. From the kitchen, a voice called out, Son, Mom's in the kitchen. Wash your face, and then come eat. Hearing this, Daegun also turned his head towards the kitchen and replied, Yes, Mom. At this time, in Ari's room, covered with a blanket over her head, Ari turned on her phone, watching intently, and wondered why. At this moment, on the phone was a YouTube channel discussing her. Reading the comments and information, Ari became even more distressed, biting her nails. What did I do wrong? I didn't do anything like that. Entering and seeing her like this, Daegun immediately snatched the phone. Stop it. You struggle for the phone with Ari, Daegun advised. Watching that stuff will only make you feel worse. But conversely, Ari frantically asked loudly, Brother, you saw the video on YouTube, right? Brother? At this, she still used all her strength to grab the phone, tears gradually flowing. Then why don't you know? The comments say it's not true. Hearing her say this, Daegun didn't know how to answer. Ari, hearing the loud noise in the room, their mother walked in, worried. Ari, are you okay? Looking out the door, Ari's voice trembled. Then, she quickly snatched the phone back and continued. If you're not going to help either, then she stood up, holding the phone high, and screamed, Then get out. Quickly, Ari threw the phone, hitting her mother. The mother, hit like that, cried out in pain, ah. After being hit, her whole body trembled. Seeing this, Daegun was surprised, turned around, and stammered, Mom. Then, extremely angry, Daegun turned to question Ari, What do you think you're doing? Seeing him angry with Ari, his mother took his hand to stop him. Daegun, stop it. Mom's okay. Ari, at this moment, just sat silently, holding her head on the bed. At this time, their mother's voice still echoed. Ari must still be suffering and tired. And so, he told himself, my family just believed that time would heal everything. But at this moment, a family photo of 3 people was neatly placed on the table. Outside the door, a voice urged, Ari, open the door. Standing outside the door, Daegun kept knocking. Ari. At this time, in a messy room, Ari sat in front of a glowing computer screen, dejected. Daegun's voice still echoed. Open the door for me, let's talk. Still trying very hard, Daegun called again. Answer me, Ari Lee. But in here, Ari maintained a terrified expression, biting her nails, looking at the phone screen. No, that's not right. At this moment, from inside the room, Ari screamed out to answer, How many times do I have to say it for people to believe I didn't do anything wrong? If you don't believe me either, then just get out. I told you to get out. After hearing these words, Daegun opened his mouth as if helpless. Then, that helplessness turned into anger, and he gritted his teeth in indignation. Finally, his expression was extremely aggrieved, leaning his head against the door. How did things turn out like this? After a while, Daegun also turned and left. I'm going to school. Food is on the table. And so, he left, leaving behind a silent space. A few days later, as Daegun was leaving the house, his mother was already waiting at the door. As soon as she saw him, she called out, Daegun. Hearing the voice, Daegun was also surprised. Then Daegun said happily, Yes, Mom? What is it? Standing opposite, looking straight into Daegun's face, she replied very gently, Mom just wanted to see my son's face for a bit. Then she immediately hugged Daegun tightly and advised, Be careful at school. Keep trying, son. Mom is always by your side. At this moment, Daegun's eyes were somewhat tired as he hugged his mother back. Yes, Mom. Suddenly at this moment, he looked up, surprised, realizing something. Then he was extremely surprised, his eyes wide open. It turned out that while they were hugging, in every nook and cranny, reporters were waiting to get information. Over by the blue-shirt reporter, seeing the two, he said, Isn't that Ari Lee's family? Hearing that, the one holding a cigarette took a few puffs, then threw it down, excited. Oh damn, perfect for a live stream. Then, the whole group of them rushed forward. Hey everyone, it's idol Ari Lee's mother and her damn brother. The criminal family. We're broadcasting a shocking interview to teach them a lesson. And so, they surrounded the two, filming and photographing continuously. On the live stream screen, the mother and son were caught in the middle with terrified faces. Malicious comments scrolled continuously. If you have questions, just ask. Don't forget to donate to me. At this time, the two of them stood there with aggrieved faces, accompanied by baseless accusations ringing out. They are accomplices. Does she not have a father? Is it true the family knew everything from the start? Did she use banned substances too? How big are their guts to dare to do this? Just die already. How many people has she bullied? Don't appear in society anymore. Show your face, educate your family. The reporters kept holding their cameras and asking continuously. Alright, first question, is it true that Ari's family helped her use banned substances? Wow, what a family, huh, you guys? After asking, seeing the two didn't answer, one reporter cursed until saliva flew. The viewers are waiting. Answer. Following that, another one pointed straight at them, insulting. Answer quickly, you stupid woman. Then the blue-shirt one continued. Do you want to ruin this broadcast, old lady? Suddenly, at this moment, Daegun tightly held his mother's hand. Right then, Daegun's mother spoke up in a very calm voice. Listen carefully. My daughter has never, and will never, do such a thing. Seeing her answer, Daegun excitedly said loudly, Mom, don't say anything. They aren't even real reporters. Seeing him intervene, one of them shouted, You, brother, just shut up and don't interfere. Her voice still rang out. She's been a good girl since she was little, never caused any trouble. Seeing her say this, they still didn't believe it. Oh, isn't that just what you want to believe? Ha ha. Seeing them jeer, Daegun retorted, Mom, I told you not to answer. Below, amidst the noisy crowd, Ari's hand had long appeared on the railing. Looking down from above, her face as dark as ink. Then, Ari's tears flowed like a stream, extremely resentful. Ari's dark silhouette still stood on the tall building, observing. Below, the crowd of reporters continuously insulted. Wow, this old lady is really something. Ha ha. Wow, this old lady is really something. Ha ha. Standing beside her, seeing his mother bow her head in humiliation like that, Daegun also couldn't believe his eyes. At that moment, I realized her body was trembling continuously as if in fear. He thought further. How much of a burden has Mom been carrying? And I thought I had to help her carry some of it. After thinking, Daegun immediately used his jacket to cover his mother's head. But it was too late. After covering his mother's head, he pulled her away, escaping this crowd of reporters, continuously shouting, Move! Please move! Stop filming and move away! Seeing them leave, the crowd of reporters continuously chased after them, under the gaze of 3 neighborhood women. We just got a donation. Ask again. Hurry up. Chase them. The 3 neighborhood women, after seeing this scene, began to gossip. What a disaster. This will make property prices drop. Seriously. An eyesore, and it affects the kids too. I knew it from the moment she appeared on TV in that outfit. At this moment, he just ran away from the crowd of reporters and some onlookers. The thought of wanting to lighten the burden for his family, because Ari also carried it. At this time, the rooftop door slowly opened. Ari's footsteps slowly ascended. Daegun's thoughts echoed endlessly. If only I could go back to the time when our family was still happy. The door opened enough for Ari to step out. The thought that her burden had disappeared. Ari reached the top, and also left her pink slipper on the rooftop. My sister, Ari. At that moment, Ari stood on the rooftop, carrying her burden, preparing to end her life. At this moment, it seemed she had stepped onto her final stage. At this time, the school bell rang for class. The teacher's voice also rang out. All right, let's start the lesson. The teacher in the class finished speaking and then noticed the difference. At this point, Daegun was no longer sitting in the classroom. His desk mate turned around, finding it strange. Then the teacher pointed in that direction and asked who was supposed to be sitting in that seat. Being asked, everyone's face was worried. Daegun's desk mate was somewhat flustered. The thing is, at this moment, in another corner, Ham Dakian was engrossed in his phone, saying loudly, Ah, teacher, you know Daegun's sister, right? Being asked, the teacher's voice rang out. A freshman, an idol? What's wrong? On the phone they were watching was a live stream of Ari, standing on the rooftop. Nearby, Min Jae held up his phone and answered the teacher. Daegun went to save his sister. At Daegun's house now, he was running desperately to his sister's place. Ari was still standing there, her face dark. Below, a crowd of people were gossiping and holding up their phones to live stream. They live streamed while hooting. That crazy girl will dying solve. What about the victims, huh? Wow, that guy just donated 100,000. Thanks, bro. In another corner, their voices showed no concern for Ari. The views today are record-breaking. Remember to like, everyone. Damn it, why die today of all days? In another corner, the gossiping neighborhood women from before were now terrified. Oh my god, what's wrong with that girl? Someone call the police. Let me. If that bitch really jumps, my house price will plummet. At this moment, Daegun's footsteps had just reached the bottom of the building. Amidst the crowd of reporters, Daegun stopped, panting. Then his face darkened, and he looked up, so scared he couldn't speak. No, Ari. Then, terrified to the extreme, he rushed forward shouting, Ari, get down from there quick. The crowd here kept laughing and joking. Daegun ran desperately to stop her. As he ran, his tears flowed. It's dangerous. Please come home. I'm begging you. While running, he suddenly tripped over someone's foot, his mouth still saying, "No, wait, I'll go up there." And finally, carelessly, Daegun fell flat on the road. In extreme pain, Daegun propped himself up with his hands, gritting his teeth, intending to get up. Then he looked up, still scared, calling Ari. Meanwhile, the man whose foot he tripped over extended his hand and said, "Excuse me." Then he pointed his camera straight at Daegun's face. Knew it, this bastard. Daegun's face appeared on the live stream. As he live streamed, he said, "Everyone, remember this morning's live stream?" The brother kept running back and forth. Now his little sister is about to jump. Faced with this scene, Daegun was extremely furious and punched the camera straight away. "Get lost. It's you guys who pushed my sister to this point." The camera was quickly knocked far away by him, shattering. Seeing his camera like that, this guy grimaced unpleasantly. "This son of a bitch." Then he pinned Daegun to the ground as if to hit him. "You really want to die? Huh, you psycho." At this moment, a blonde man holding a camera approached. "Everyone, the family member of the bully girl is starting trouble." And so, the crowd surrounded them, pointing their cameras. "Today's content is quality gold. Haha, so funny." At this moment, a man, seeing it was a bit too much, approached. "Hey, are we just going to let them be like this?" The blonde man retorted, "So what? Isn't it justice?" Haha. And the blue shirt guy at this time had landed a series of punches on Daegun's face. "Dog, do you know how much this live stream is worth?" Faced with the punches, Daegun showed no fear and endured them all. In his head, he remembered the scene of Ari painfully hugging their mother, crying, then the scene of Kwak Jidi licking his lips, teasing, then the scene of Ari sitting painfully in her room, holding her head, then the scene of his mother being cornered by the reporters. He cursed inwardly, "Damn it." Feeling his anger erupt, his eyes widened. Then, he kneed the guy straight in chin. The guy, after being hit like that, also had a nosebleed and fell backward. Finally, this blue shirt guy lay sprawled on the ground, unconscious. Witnessing this scene, everyone was horrified. "Oh my god." Then Daegun also propped himself up, his body trembling. Standing up straight, Daegun stood still, looking straight up at where Ari was. Standing still for a moment, Daegun said to the crowd of reporters, "Didn't she say she didn't do it?" Finally, he used all his strength to shout loudly. Ari said she's innocent. In front of all the live streaming cameras, Daegun couldn't take it anymore and cursed wildly. "Damn it. She can't even go to school. So how could she bully anyone? Has any of you bastards seen it with your own eyes?" The reporters just stood there. Among this crowd, a blue-haired girl was also pointing her camera in that direction. His voice still rang out. "You guys do this just to get more followers. You want to push things further just to get donation money." The scene zoomed in closer and closer to the blue-haired girl. Daegun was still cursing. "Don't mess with people, you bastards." At this moment, silent for a while, the blue-haired girl opened her eyes wide, full of contemplation. After Daegun finished his tirade, the scene here fell silent. On the rooftop, looking down, Ari sadly said, "Mom, brother, finally, my eyes seem to have given up. I'm sorry." At this moment, a reporter looked up, somewhat worried. "Hey, it looks like she just moved." Hearing that, ignoring everyone, Daegun, haggard, looked up. "Ari, stand still. Wait for me to get there," he said. Then, under the cameras of many people, he ran into the building. While he was running, outside, the crowd stirred again. "Oh God, look over there. Damn it, move out of the way." At this moment, he turned his head. Ari's body was slowly falling. Finally, a deafening sound rang out. Ari fell, blood flowing into a stream. They gathered around again, filming and photographing. "Damn, for real? Hurry up, film it. It'll be a masterpiece on YouTube." "What's this? The live stream got cut." "You idiot, record in normal video." "Arg, even if you don't want to, you have to hold the camera steady." At this moment, seeing the scene before his eyes, Daegun was speechless, only feeling helpless. Finally, at this building, the screams just echoed. And then came Ari's funeral. And so, Ari died before many people's eyes. They said she deserved it, Daegun thought, sitting in a corner at her funeral, head bowed. Not worth mourning. Then Daegun's expression became even more lost, not holding his sister's memorial photo. Even now, people still whisper and point whenever her name is mentioned. Daegun's expression was now like a soulless corpse as he blamed himself. "I'm just a piece of trash. I couldn't even protect my sister until the very end." 2 weeks later, at the school he attended, in a classroom, two young men were talking. "Ugh, so boring. What's wrong?" asked. This guy rested his head on one arm and lamented, "The channel I like got deleted. Those crazy people dared to film Ari's body. Truly sick." Hearing this, the friend sitting next to him reminded, "Hey, hey." Then he glanced back towards Daegun's seat and warned, "Watch what you say." Being reminded like that, the other guy argued back, "What did I say wrong? This classroom isn't just his. If anything, I'll slap him." At this moment, Daegun suddenly stood up, startling both of them. Then he also walked out, to the relief of the two. With an extremely dejected mood, Daegun wandered the hallway. Behind him was Minji's group with two other guys. Minjae saw him, his expression showing some emotion. Meanwhile, Daegun walked on and turned into another hallway. Seeing this, Minjae smirked and called his underling, "Jidi." Hearing this, Kwak Jidi looked down and asked, "Huh? What's up?" Then he flashed an even more grotesque smile. "You still have money, right?" At this moment, Daegun was standing somewhere outside. The sky was clear, the wind blew gently. He stood there with a face full of dark circles, looking lifelessly in one direction. When did everything start to go wrong? Then he remembered Ari's silhouette standing on a rooftop. I should have paid more attention to Ari when she was drowning in sorrow. Returning to reality, his hair was disheveled. He thought further. If only I had known a few minutes sooner. He remembered the moment he saw Ari facing death. Not thinking further, his tears welled up again. I shouldn't have praised her singing when she was only 10 years old. Suddenly, at this moment, something hit his face. It was Minji's group. He, being hit like that, still stood motionless, not reacting. At this moment, Minjae held up his phone, filming something. Kwak Jidi, after hitting him, pretended to be innocent. "I was just trying to stick a straw in, but it flew off somewhere. Sorry, I don't know if you can pick it up for me." Contrary to their expectations, Daegun's expression was emotionless, standing stiffly, still lost in his thoughts. If so, she wouldn't have participated in that audition. Over there, Kwak Jidi approached again and said, "Ah, never mind, I'll pick it up myself." After approaching, Kwak Jidi gave him another slap. "I don't want to catch your pathetic energy just by having you touch it." Seeing this, Daekian on the other side clutched his stomach, laughing loudly. "Ah, you idiot. Hitting him means you've already touched him, right?" Hearing this, Kwak Jidi also startled and looked over. "Oh, right." Then he gave Daegun another slap. Screw it. But now, his mood was still devoid of any emotion. Or perhaps, seeing his completely unangry demeanor, Kwak Jidi was a little curious. "What's this? This dog isn't reacting at all." Then he gave him a kick right in the stomach and cursed, "Act like a man like last time." Ignoring them, he still thought, "A pathetic guy like me couldn't even protect his own sister." Being hit like that, Daegun now spat out blood. Shouldn't have been born. Seeing him not react, Kwak Jidi landed another punch. "Scared now, huh, coward?" And so, he threw a powerful punch at his face. Then, gaining momentum, Kwak Jidi threw a few more punches at his face. Over here, Daekian pointed and watched intently. Minjae still silently filmed something. While filming, Minjae stared intently at the phone. In the phone, Daegun's face was extremely pathetic, without any emotion. Finished, he flashed a disgusting smile and called out, "Good, that's enough for today." Then he stuffed his phone into his pocket and left. "Jidi, done filming, let's go." Hearing that, Jidi was a bit disappointed. "What? It just started." Hearing him say that, Minjae paused slightly and said, "That's enough. Who would watch such long videos anyway?" Hearing it was reasonable, Jidi looked at Daegun, who was trembling and kneeling on the ground. "Boring. Anyway, this bastard seems to have learned his lesson." Then he turned and walked away. From now on. Then Jidi gave Daegun another powerful kick. "Dare to mess with us again, and you're dead meat." After being beaten, his body covered in wounds, lay on the floor. After leaving him, Daegun saw the other two had already left and called out, "Hey, wait." Lying on the floor, extremely painful, Daegun could only clutch his stomach, trembling. At this moment, he spat out a few drops of blood. With a swollen face, Daegun turned to look up at the sky. He just looked at the clear, quiet blue sky for a long time. Meanwhile, walking down the hallway, Minjae held his phone, watching videos continuously. The other two guys were joking with each other. "Haha, you got your revenge perfectly, didn't you? Hey, dog, you really think I'd lose to someone like him?" In the phone at this moment, Minjae sent a message with the video he just filmed to someone. "Buddy, got an update video on Daegun. Can make some money from this, haha." The two over here started talking. "Jidi, what are you going to do with the money this time?" "What else? party hard with some girls, of course. Suddenly, at this moment, there was a strong blow to the back of GD's head. After the blow, Min Jae snapped. You idiot, I said I'd only pay you if you did a good job. But still trying to endure, Kwok GD held his head, turned around, and smiled. All right, I'll do my best. Just then, as if realizing something, Min Jae was slightly startled. At this moment, walking down the school hallway was an incredibly beautiful girl with a streak of blue highlight in her hair. When she saw this group, she said, Hey, Kwok GD, about that payment, I think I'll use it first. And the other girl, at this moment, brushed past them and went up the stairs. Seeing her, Min Jae just watched her go, while the other two argued, So stupid. Have we ever had a girl like that in our school before? Your job is to investigate things like that. Min Jae watched the girl with great interest and then ordered, Fatty, find her info. Hearing this, that guy also pointed his phone out to take a picture. Okay. At this time, on the rooftop, Daegun was still lying there, motionless. The door was open again. Walking in, the girl called out loudly, Hey, Kwon Daegun. Hearing the call, he was also surprised and turned to look at this blue-haired girl. After approaching him, she put her hands on her hips and questioned, Are you just going to lie there forever? Seeing her appear, Daegun asked strangely, Who are you? The girl, being asked, snapped back, Is that important? Looking at his swollen face, she continued, The bastards who ruined your sister's life are still prancing around in this environment. Hearing this sentence, Daegun seemed to wake up and immediately asked, What flag is this? Translator's note, Sakonai is a bit idiomatic. What flag is this? Might be a literal but slightly awkward translation. It implies, what's this about? Or what's going on, with a sense of sudden realization or a new development. Better, what are you talking about? In another corner of the rooftop, Jo Min Jae was standing in a shady spot, talking on the phone. Min Jae said to the person on the other end, Boss, did you see Daegun's video? But suddenly, the other end cursed, You idiot. Then this boss continued to curse. Are you crazy? Fighting doesn't even make it to the YouTube top charts anymore. Being cursed like that, Min Jae tried to take credit, but I filmed it with great difficulty. Can I ask for a part of the payment? But in response to this plea, the other guy just cursed, Damn you. Film something worthwhile. Don't make me repeat myself. Not daring to object, Min Jae obediently said, Yes, sir. I will. The call was cut off abruptly. Looking at the phone, Min Jae said unhappily, Dog. That bastard said he'd pay for any clip with Kwon Daegun in it. Seeing this, the beautiful girl approached, put her arm around his shoulder, and asked, So, how much is it worth? Seeing her put her arm around his shoulder, Min Jae was somewhat startled and turned around. At this moment, her face became incredibly terrifying as she asked again, I asked how much it's worth. Big sister's asking you, you idiot. At this time, Daegun was still lying quietly on the rooftop, while the blue-haired girl stood beside him with her hands on her hips. At this moment, her eyes widened as she said loudly, The bastards who ruined your sister's life. Your sister is still prancing around in this environment. As soon as he heard that, Daegun asked in surprise, What? Being asked like that, she scratched her head. It's a long story. After hearing that, Daegun lay there with a strange smile. Witnessing this, the blue-haired girl's face showed some emotion. Then, in front of the girl, Daegun put his hand to his cheek and sat up, trembling as he recounted. That's right. It's not just the students at this school, is it? Even the old folks next door, the elementary school kids in town. Still looking incredibly haggard, kneeling before this girl, Daegun continued, While Ari was suffering like that. What were you doing? Did anyone bother to listen to her explanation? At this point, becoming extremely resentful, Daegun lifted his head and cried pitifully, I don't know who you are, but you're probably just like them. You just stood by and watched, right? Damn it. As soon as his words ended, the space here fell unusually silent. Then Daegun propped himself up with both hands, spitting out a few drops of blood. After being spoken to like that, the girl also gritted her teeth, looking angry, and turned her head. I have a lot I want to say, you know. But then she turned away with an angry posture. But for now, I'll hold back. At this moment, on the phone screen, an image of Kwon Daegun, 18 years old, a second-year student at Sangha High School, brother of idol Ari Lee, who is currently the center of discussion, appeared. The girl still stared intently at the phone. This won't end with idol Ari Lee's death. The next target is definitely Kwon Daegun. Then, the scene of Daegun jabbing his elbow straight into GD's chin appeared. She thought further. based on how he reacted at the scene of his sister's incident. Then, the moment Daegun looked toward the cameras, cursing continuously. He's not the type to be easily bullied. At this moment, in a room, the girl glanced out the window. So, the bullies targeting him must have someone behind them. Then she stared intently at Min Jae, strolling alone in the yard, and smiled. Alright, let's start investigating that redhead first. At this moment, in a hidden place, Min Jae, with a nervous expression, was talking on the phone. Boss, but I filmed it with great difficulty. Can I ask for a part of the payment? He sat there, oblivious, continuing, Yes, have a good day, sir. At this time, the blue-haired girl also secretly appeared with a demonic expression, filming. Payment confirmed. Oh, my intuition is really top-notch. Haha. When the call was cut, Joe Min Jae angrily cursed. Dog. Those bastards said they'd pay for any clip with Kwon Daegun in it. Seeing him finish talking, the blue-haired girl put her arm around his shoulder, feigning an innocent look at the phone. So how much is it worth? Hearing this voice, Min Jae also startled and turned around, stammering, Seeing him still dazed, the blue-haired girl smiled contemptuously. I asked how much it's worth. Big sister's asking you, you idiot. Faced with this question, Min Jae still didn't answer but said, Damn, you scared me. Then Min Jae, holding the phone with both hands, raised it and shook it a few times, a teasing smile on his face. Ha. Hey, little lady, do you know what this is? Why, thinking of buying it. Seeing him still beating around the bush, the girl, her face annoyed, asked again. I said, how much? Immediately, Min Jae stated the number, 500. Then she acted cute again, her voice coquettish. Can't you give a discount to a friend? Witnessing this, Min Jae's face showed some confusion. He put a cigarette between his lips, and his eyes kept staring at the girl's chest. Then Min Jae glanced at her fair thighs. Finally, the cigarette in Min Jae's mouth dropped, accompanied by a crisp sound, 50. Being discounted like that, she was a bit surprised. Why? At this moment, Min Jae approached and touched her hand. Then, with an incredibly terrifying face, he continued, You just need to pay 50 each time. He continued, What do you think, little lady? Seeing this guy try to lure her, the blue-haired girl immediately punched him in the face. Finally, he fell down under her cold gaze. Min Jae fell with a thud to the ground. Then her sharp voice rang out, You're still wet behind the ears. What do you think you're touching, huh? After knocking him down, she also approached and picked up the phone. Then, squatting down, she held up the phone, shook it a few times, and said, Big sister will question you thoroughly later, sweetie. Later, in the classroom, Min Jae wasn't there. Kwak Jidi and Ham Daekian sat next to each other, asking, Hey, Piggy, where's Joe Min Jae? Don't know. Probably went for a smoke again. Then Kwak Jidi stood up, stretched his arms high. Is that so? Then I'll do something too. Finally, he walked out of the classroom without permission. Seeing this, the teacher who was lecturing looked out and shouted loudly, Kwak Jidi, class is in session. Where do you think you're going? Hearing this, Ham Daekian, sitting inside, covered for him. He's going to take a dump, teacher. Quickly, Kwak Jidi also reached the stairs. While walking, as if realizing something, Kwak Jidi was somewhat surprised. It turned out, at this moment, the blue-haired girl was holding the phone, excitedly walking in. Seeing Jidi, she whistled a few times. Oh, then, with a menacing look, Jidi blocked her path and asked, Hey, little lady, what grade are you in? Being asked, she also looked up with indifferent eyes. Finally, still holding the phone, she brushed past him, pushing him hard with her shoulder. None of her damn business. Being ignored like that, Kwak Jidi watched her go, so angry his face was veined. This crazy bitch. Meanwhile, against a wall, Min Jae painfully crawled in, whispering, Get her. Seeing Jidi still standing there dazed, Min Jae cursed, Damn it, get her. Seeing this pathetic state, Jidi looked on with contempt. You want me to get her, huh? Seeing this look, Min Jae was so angry his face turned red as he roared, That's right. Damn you. Hearing this, Kwak Jidi immediately took off, chasing after her. As he ran, he shouted, Okay, I'm coming, but remember to pay extra. At this moment, running very fast, he fixed his gaze on the girl's back. As he was about to get close, Kwak Jidi flashed a confident smile. He got closer and closer. Just as he was about to reach her, Kwak Jidi also raised his hand as if to grab her head, thinking, Got you, bitch. But in that instant, She flashed a savage smile as if she had realized everything. Just as his hand was about to touch her, she, like a ghost, slipped behind him. Finished, her eyes still fixed on the screen, a bright smile on her face. Seeing her outmaneuver him, Kwok Ji couldn't believe his eyes. Looking again, finally, because he was running with momentum, Kwok Ji also fell hard to the ground. Seeing him lying on the ground in pain, she laughed gleefully. What the hell are you doing on the ground? Teasing him made Ji even angrier. He turned his head back and cursed, "You bitch, I'll kill you." Hearing his assertion, this girl still smiled encouragingly. "Yeah, try your best." Meanwhile, from afar, Min-jae ran with all his might, intending to grab her. And on the left, Kwok Ji seemed about to stand up and fight back. Between these two, she showed no fear, running towards the window. After reaching the window, this girl propped her hands on the windowsill, then she kicked it open and jumped out. Finally, this blue-haired girl landed safely on the ground. Seeing her run away, Min-jae, standing inside, continuously scolded, "You couldn't even catch her, you big, shit-for-brains idiot. Chase after her." Hearing this, Kwok Ji could only mumble, "Uh-oh." Then, both of them also jumped out the window, following her. As if the two of them were chasing right behind the girl, continuously shouting, "Give me back my phone, you bitch." Seeing her turn at the corner of the wall, they also followed. "But just wait until I catch you." But then, realizing something, both of them froze in fear. From afar, a motorcycle was speeding towards them at high intensity. Feeling like they were about to die, both of them screamed loudly. Then the motorcycle she was riding also swerved, causing both of them to fall to either side. After giving him a painful blow, she also skidded to a stop, sitting on the ground, turning her head to them, her face dark. Then this blue-haired girl picked up the fallen phone, shook it, still sitting on the motorcycle, blinked seductively. "Hey, redhead, good stuff. Let me use it for you, remember?" And he, sitting on the ground, was speechless with anger. You crazy bitch." At this moment, in the hallway, Daegun was walking with a bruised face. While walking, he suddenly realized something and was slightly startled. It turned out it was the teacher standing in front of him. In front of the teacher, he bowed very politely. The teacher, seeing this, also stood silently for a moment. Then he also walked past him as if they had never met. Next, another group of students walked by. Seeing him, they started gossiping. The girls in this group continuously said, "Hasn't he transferred schools? He's ruining our school's image. Hey, be quiet, or he'll turn around and punch us." Then, two boys were gossiping. "Have you heard? Ari Lee is dead, and that guy is also involved." "Really? He's her brother. Crazy." At this moment, standing still, enduring all the gossip, Daegun lowered his head. A voice rang out. "Ari is so pitiful to have such a crazy brother." Suddenly, a beam of light flashed by, startling him awake, his eyes wide open. Then he glanced through the window. Below, the blue-haired girl riding a motorcycle also looked up and saw him. As soon as she saw him, she happily waved. This gesture looked quite familiar. He realized in his heart, the girl on the rooftop earlier? At this time, Minji's group, after school, sat in a shady spot. Ham Dakian was smoking, looking at the two of them, trying to suppress his laughter. Nearby, Kwok Ji was smoking with a gruff expression. Min-jae was similarly leaning back. Suddenly, Min-jae felt a bit angry, thinking, "Damn it, that broke bastard is starting to get cocky." After thinking, Min-jae immediately held out the money in front of Ji and said, "All right, here's 50 for that video." Then he smirked and praised, "Good job, Ji." As he said it, he thought it was a bit of a waste to give it away. Holding the wad of money in his hand, Kwok Ji stammered, "Thanks, Min-jae." Seeing his demeanor, Min-jae asked again, "Why too little?" Being asked, Kwok Ji startled and replied, "Ah, no, it's just," and so on. Kwok Ji stuffed the money into his pocket. Min-jae continued to sit there smoking, watching his actions, and thought, "I'm also ready to withdraw all my savings if necessary." But at this moment, Minji's face turned red with extreme anger, thinking, "Damn it, I have to find that phone." After thinking, he gave an order, "Ji, go catch that bitch from earlier and bring the phone back to me." Hearing this, Kwok Ji hesitated. "I want to, but it's harder than I thought." As soon as he heard that, Min-jae threw away his cigarette and immediately set a price. "I'll pay 20 times more." Hearing this number, Ji was startled. 20? What? 20 times? Still not believing it, Ji, his whole body trembling, asked again, Mommy, how much is 20 times? Seeing him still trembling and asking, Minjae impatiently stood up and replied, You idiot, it's 10 million. Hearing that, he said loudly, 10 million. Then Minji's hand snaked behind GD's neck and pushed his head down. Then Joe Minjae, face to face with GD, very close, asked further, So, worth it, right? Hearing that, GD also craved it. Damn, that's awesome. If necessary, I'll break her arms and legs and drag her back here. And so, Minjae stood far away, watching them, instructing, All right, as long as you don't damage her face. After hearing that, GD also went out, dragging Ham Dakian with him. Let's go, Dakian. Dakian was also happy. Tomorrow, I'll buy a new Gucci wallet. Seeing their excited demeanor, Minji's face became confident. She's dead meat for sure, that bitch. Then, at this place, the two of them kept wanting to leave and chatted with each other. Hey, GD, how are you going to contact Minjae? Contact? Don't know. Maybe message him on Kakao or something. At this time, in the late afternoon, at the building where Daegun lived, Daegun was extremely dejected, walking on the road. His eyes were still filled with sadness, thinking, Ari must have felt like this once too. Once again, the scene of Daegun facing a barrage of cameras, cursing wildly, then the scene of GD punching Daegun straight in the face. Right now, after thinking about the past, Daegun immediately gritted his teeth. No matter how much I scream. Then, the scene of the teacher walking past him without any recognition, then a group of friends looking at him, gossiping, and finally, the blue-haired girl happily waving at him in the schoolyard. There's still not a single person willing to listen. But just remembering the image of that girl, Daegun seemed to snap awake, his eyes wide open. Then he slightly opened his mouth and sighed. Or maybe no one. Suddenly, at this moment, from behind, a strong blow hit his head. He turned around and saw Dakian. Seeing him, Dakian called out, Where's your head at? Then, his face extremely amused, he took out his phone. Hey, I want to ask you something. After asking, he held out the phone screen and continued. Have you seen a girl like this around here? Looking at the picture on the screen, Daegun, as if recognizing her, was somewhat startled. Then he took the phone, looked closer, and replied, Not sure. Hearing that, Dakian looked up at Daegun with suspicion. Is that so? This picture was taken when she was heading towards a rooftop. I was wondering if she bumped into you or something. Seeing him say that, Daegun just glanced silently. Then, still suspicious, Dakian continued his question. So you don't know what class she's in either? Still cold as usual, he replied, Don't know. Then Dakian looked at the picture and licked his lips. Look at that body. Still hot, as usual. Then he also left. If you're done, I'm leaving. Seeing him hurry, Dakian approached, put his arm around his shoulder, holding him back. Hey, Daegun, what's the rush? GD went a bit too far earlier and wants to apologize to you. Just 5 minutes, okay? Hearing this, Daegun hesitated a bit. Oh well. Standing next to Dakian, he's still encouraged. So, is that a yes? Good. Follow me. Quickly. They had reached a corner of the street. Standing here, looking at his phone, Dakian said to Daegun, Damn, GD will probably be a little late. Then he handed him a pack of cigarettes and asked, You smoke? Probably not, huh? Speaking of which, it's about time. At this time, Daegun, having waited a bit too long, turned as if preparing to leave. So tired. Seeing this, Dakian put out his cigarette and held him back. Hey, Daegun, GD will be here soon, I swear. Hearing that, he, extremely tired, still walked on. Tell him to meet me at school tomorrow. But at this time, Dakian immediately put his hand on his shoulder, holding him in this position, and continued, Come on, buddy, he just wants to talk for a bit. Ugh. Being held back, Daegun was so angry his face turned red, his eyes glaring back, full of resentment. Seeing this, Dakian looked annoyed. Look at this damn dog's eyes. Then he put out his cigarette and spat a mouthful of saliva, feigning pity. Let's go easy on you. The saliva quickly flew straight into Daegun's face. He at this moment grimaced, enduring it. Then, he still maintained an annoyed expression. Dakian then threw a punch. And now you're talking back to us. At this moment, the blue-haired girl appeared, caught his fist, and called out, Friends shouldn't fight, right? Seeing her appear, Dakian was somewhat scared. Oh, you... Seeing him flustered, this blue-haired girl's face became serious. What? Never seen a hot beauty before. Then, immediately, she punched him in the face, causing blood to splatter. At the same time, Dakian still tried to shout, Found her. After knocking him unconscious against the corner, she raised her fist confidently. Ah, can't let little bro get famous first. On the other side, Dagon wiped off the saliva and asked, "Who are you? Why do you keep following me?" Being asked like that, this girl scratched her head, explaining, well, it's not like I like you or anything, okay? Then she approached, extended her hand, and continued, right? Misery loves company, right? Kids these days don't know that proverb. Standing opposite him so directly, Dagon stammered, "I know, and it's misery loves company, not what you just said." Then he was still curious. "But who are you?" Suddenly, at this moment, behind the girl, a blond young man appeared with a terrifying face, holding a weapon high, about to attack. But the girl still didn't notice, innocently replying, "But let's negotiate." But then, the weapon of the redhead, likely GD, or another gang member, had already hit the girl's head, drawing blood. Dagon could only stand there dazed, watching the blood splatter everywhere. To Dagon's astonishment, this blue-haired girl finally fell beside Dagon. After hitting her, GD looked at the broken stick and lamented, "Is the stick weak, or is that girl's head made of stone?" At this time, it was clear that the young man who had just hit her had the appearance of a gang leader. He said very calmly, "Anyway, it's only this much." This guy said, then glanced back happily. "It's all good, right, bro?" GD, at this moment, put his hand on this person's shoulder and praised, "Good job." Finally, GD flashed a contemptuous smile. "Finally caught this bitch." Then another guy came and helped ham Dakian up. "Bro, get up." Dakian, being helped up, his whole body trembling, moaned. Facing Dakian, GD added, "Good job, you piece of trash." Dakian added, "I told you, there's definitely something between these two." Then, standing opposite Dagon, he ordered, "All right, now capture him alive and drag him back." Faced with the scene just now, Dagon's face darkened. Then he looked over at the girl's body, lying limply on the ground. In his mind, at this moment, he remembered the scene of his sister also falling from the rooftop, bleeding profusely. His face and eyes had now changed color, as if he had become a demon. In the small, deserted alley, GD appeared, approaching Dagon, greeting, "Oh, Dagon." He put his arm around his shoulder, feigning closeness. "Sorry about earlier at school." But as he spoke, he stepped on the girl who had just been knocked out, lying on the ground, then turned to ask Dagon, "Is this a new transfer student, or a delinquent from another school?" I don't understand anything." His other hand was already clenched into a fist as he asked in a threatening tone, "Who is she?" Dagon's face had already darkened, his eyes looking at the other guy with some worry. "I don't know." GD looked at Dagon and smiled slyly. "Oh, is that so?" As soon as he finished speaking, he punched Dagon hard in the stomach. "You don't know our Dagon?" Dagon immediately collapsed to the ground, clutching his stomach in pain. GD, on the other hand, smiled, extremely pleased with the punch. "All right. Anyway, there's still plenty of time." Looking at Dagon still kneeling on the ground, his whole body trembling from the pain, unable to stand up, he threatened, "You want to be beaten until you remember, old man." Dagon looked up, his eyes glaring at GD with anger and resentment. Seeing that expression, his face contorted with anger, his lips curled into a distorted, contemptuous smile, his eyebrows furrowed, his eyes terrifyingly looking at Dagon. Damn it, that look again." Then he landed another hard punch on Dagon's head, shouting loudly, "This dog." Another punch landed. GD shouted, asking as he kicked Dagon, sending him flying, relentlessly interrogating, "Tell me, who is she?" Dagon couldn't resist, only able to continue enduring the blows. But he still hadn't stopped, continuously hitting Dagon. His accomplices stood around, cheering, "Good hit. Keep going." One of GD's underlings felt worried and spoke up, reminding, "Senior, if you hit him like this, he's done for." But Dakian, standing beside him, acted unconcerned. He won't die. This guy can take a beating." After a while of beating, GD grabbed Dagon's collar, pulled him up, and advised, "Dagon, just tell us who that girl is." Dagon at this time, covered in injuries, his whole face swollen and bleeding, still answered, "Don't know," and even fearlessly cursed GD, "You piece of trash." GD, at this point, was enraged, clenching his fists tightly, his voice threatening. "All right then." He swung his fist straight at Dagon's face, shouting, "Die." Dagon was immediately punched, flying away. GD didn't care about that, glancing at his underlings and ordering, "Hey, pull him up. Check if he has a phone." The underlings obeyed, "Yes, sir," and quickly approached to search him. "Hey, you hold that spot." At the same time, The girl gradually regained consciousness, but the others were completely unaware, still continuing their actions. Hey you, not that spot, hold here. Pull her up. The girl was unexpectedly pulled up by some underlings. This girl is surprisingly heavy. Finally, the underling who had knocked the girl unconscious earlier also found the phone on her. Senior, is this the phone? GD happily snatched the phone from the underling's hand. That's right. Damn it, you'll get an extra reward. Dakian's eyes lit up, his mouth unable to stop smiling as he approached. Hey GD, damn, too awesome. GD was no less happy, but still reminded, don't get too excited. Message Minjae. Another underling spoke up, asking, but Senior GD, The two underlings holding the girl, their faces scared, didn't know how to handle the situation. This girl isn't breathing anymore. The faces of the whole group turned pale, unable to help, feeling confused and scared. One underling trembled and said, damn it, is she really dead? The one standing next to him, his face already pale. Hey, looks like there's a big problem. The bald underling with a mask, who was holding the girl, was now drenched in cold sweat. He immediately let go, terrified, and stepped back. Damn it, I don't know anything. The other one was no better. Seeing his accomplice run away, he was extremely panicked. Hey you, where are you going? The one who found the phone just now, who was happy about his great achievement, now had a dark face, grabbing GD's shirt hem. Bro, GD, if we're caught, we're done for. You gave the order. You'll protect us, right? GD slapped the underling hard across the face, loudly lecturing. You bunch of foolish kids. You delinquents are scared. She doesn't die that easily. The underlings, scared, their eyes darting around. GD, check her yourself. Dakian smiled strangely, his eyes full of desire, his hand already raised. GD, now you rest. Let me check her. But GD pushed him aside with his hand. Get lost, you dog. GD slowly approached. The girl's body trembled slightly. Playing dead? You think we're idiots? The girl still tried to remain motionless. GD, angry, raised his hand, intending to hit the girl. All right then, a few more punches and she'll wake up. The girl quickly reacted, lifting her head and biting his hand hard until it bled, her voice still weak. Don't break it. GD pulled his hand back, his face contorted. Damn it, you bit so hard. Suddenly, he felt a pain piercing through his core. His body stiffened, his face twitched hideously, his eyes rolled back, and he screamed loudly. It turned out the girl had taken advantage of him, checking the wound on his finger, raised her leg, and kicked him hard in the groin, giving him no time to dodge. GD immediately collapsed to the ground, moaning. The underlings standing nearby were too scared to believe their eyes. Only the girl happily turned her head, spat out a mouthful of blood, and pretended, Oh, I slipped. Sorry. The girl grabbed the underling's hair, yanking it back. Now you. Her eyes, angry as if wanting to kill. Let go. The underling, caught off guard, was pulled back by the girl. The girl continued, bending her hand and striking him hard on the neck, knocking him out instantly. The blonde underling, who was just asking GD for protection, now, although a bit hesitant, still wanted to take advantage of the girl's lowered guard to attack. All right, this is my chance. A chance for Senior GD to recognize me. He rushed forward, grabbing the girl's hair. The girl looked at him with terrifying, fiery eyes. It's you, huh? I have something to say to you, too. The underling, angry, his eyes rolled back, shouted, Are you acting, you bitch? The girl used both hands with all her strength to hold the hand grabbing her hair and twisted it. The underling, in pain, let go. She forcefully bent his entire arm backward, glancing at the underling with a deadly look. You started trouble with me first, so don't regret it. The underling, now scared, cried and begged, Hey, wait, what are you doing? Don't do that. I was just following orders. Don't do that. A blood-curdling scream rang out. The girl broke his arm and threw him to the ground. Overdoing it, he lay on the ground, clutching his broken arm, crying silently in pain. GD, standing behind, trembled with anger, veins bulging on his temples, his eyes bloodshot, teeth gritting, thinking, This crazy bitch. Suddenly, he saw the broken wooden stick lying on the ground, picked it up, and rushed at the girl, shouting, Die. The girl, seeing this, terrified, stepped back, raising her hands to defend herself. Oh my God, are you really trying to kill me? But as the wooden stick was about to hit the girl, Daegun suddenly appeared, holding a fire extinguisher, and smashed it on GD's head. GD's face was immediately deformed. only able to utter a croak before collapsing to the ground. The girl couldn't help but exclaim excitedly, "Gosuti!" Gosuti is Korean slang for awesome or cool. The underlings, seeing this, were also stunned. "Jidia!" But immediately after, Dakian regained his composure and shouted, "Damn it! Get them!" Following the shout, the whole group rushed forward in unison. Daegun calmly pulled the pin of the fire extinguisher. Dakian froze, his face confused. Daegun sprayed the fire extinguisher straight into his face. In the small alley, a white smoke billowed out, obscuring their vision. Only desperate screams could be heard. My eyes! Damn it! Can't breathe. Where are the others? Can't see anything. Got him! It's me! Wrong one!" Daegun and the girl, covering their faces, limped out of the small alley together. Daegun couldn't help but grumble, "Hey, can't you go any faster?" The girl, also tired, replied, "Try getting hit on the head and see if you can walk." Suddenly, the girl pushed Daegun away. Hey, let go!" Daegun, not understanding what was happening, turned to reproach, "Hurry up. Let's escape first." The girl opened the door and got into a black car nearby, then turned around and asked, her voice cold and urging, "What are you doing? Not getting in?" Daegun looked up like an idiot. The sunset descended on the city. The car stopped at a traffic light. Daegun sat in the passenger seat, holding his backpack, and asked curiously, "Hey, can high school students drive?" The girl, calmly, one hand on the steering wheel, the other resting on the car door, replied, "I'm not in high school anymore." Daegun, surprised, "Huh?" The girl replied indifferently, "I just look young." Daegun was still not satisfied. "No. Then how did you get into the school? And what about the uniform? Who are you really?" The girl looked absently out the window. "Where should I start explaining? The red light is still counting down." All right. Let's make it short and easy to understand." The girl smiled brightly and introduced herself. "Actually, I'm also a YouTuber." Daegun looked at her with a clearly surprised expression. "What?" Kwon Daegun was also surprised. "What? Are you a professional racer?" The strange girl, hearing this, hurriedly explained, "I mean, people usually call them street racers." Daegun turned to look at her with curious eyes, then smirked. "So, you just came to film a video about the bully's family?" But the girl, while fumbling for paper, retorted, "No." Daegun, at this point, warned her in a stern voice, "If you're involved even a little bit in my sister's death," his hand clenched into a fist, emphasizing each word, "I'll take your life right here, right now." Unexpectedly, the girl replied in a tone full of provocation, "Try it. Go ahead, kill me." Then she turned seriously to Daegun and said, "But about you and your sister. Calm down and listen carefully." Daegun, hearing it concerned his sister, his face also became thoughtful and continued to listen to the girl. "Daegun, do you remember when I said that the one who harmed your sister is in this school?" Meanwhile, Min Jae was standing pensively when GD and Dakian approached him with swollen faces. As soon as Min Jae saw them, Min Jae impatiently asked, "Hey, where's the phone?" GD also quickly took out the phone and gave it to him. Min Jae arrogantly snatched the phone, not only not thanking him, but also nagging, "If you brought it, hand it over quickly." As he looked at the phone, he panically bit his nails, constantly cursing, "Damn it! Damn it! Damn it!" Stupid Dakian even complained to Min Jae, "Hey, I messaged him on Zalo, and he didn't even bother to read it." Hearing that, Min Jae furiously cursed, "That bastard took the phone." Dakian then suddenly realized, no wonder he called from a strange number. Min Jae didn't even bother to scold Dakian anymore. After looking at the phone, he sighed in disappointment. Still no signal from a boss. Then he turned to interrogate GD and Dakian. "Hey, you guys couldn't catch that girl?" Dakian, when asked, started to mumble, "The thing is..." GD, however, said bluntly, "That girl used to be a boxer, at least." Min Jae, hearing this, was skeptical. But immediately after, GD also explained further. "Looking at the way she throws punches and uses her arm strength, you can tell." He remembered the strange girl's punch from earlier and stated firmly, "At least she's competed at the national level." Min Jae, hearing this, also understood and smirked mockingly. So that's why you guys were defeated so miserably." Dakian also defended GD. "GD is right." GD, beside him, also spat out a mouthful of blood. Dakian continued, "I've been beaten up a lot, so I could take a punch pretty well. But that girl, just one punch and I was down." Hearing this, Min Jae paused. "Wait, besides her, who else can knock you down? Moreover, Even that muscular GD was knocked unconscious. After hearing this, Min-jae also concluded, so it means a girl riding a motorcycle to school suddenly appeared and took down all the delinquents? Ha ha ha, you guys actually believe that? Unexpectedly, GD added something even funnier. After beating Daegun, we found out they don't even know each other at all. Daekyun also had to agree. Min-jae, this sounds like those funny videos on YouTube. Hearing this, Min-jae seemed to have an epiphany. Wait a minute. Then he told Daekyun to repeat what he just said. What was that? Say it again. YouTube. Daekyun also trembled and said, like, funny YouTube. Is that it? It's very similar. Then Min-jae hurriedly told Daekyun and GD, hey, send me all the pictures of that girl, quick. After searching, he finally found it. Here it is. GD and Daekyun didn't understand anything, just did as they were told. Huh? Oh. Min-jae dialed a number, a cunning smile on his face. This smells like money. And that strange girl, still unaware that she had been targeted, drove Daegun, speeding down the road. In the car, she even asked him, do you know any YouTubers who started spreading rumors about your sister? Daegun just answered briefly, don't know. Unexpectedly, right after that, the strange girl enlightened him. Gigo TV was the one who started it. He's quite famous in this circle, kind of like a dirty rat. Daegun, hearing this name, found it very strange. Gigo TV? What's that? The girl asked him back, do you watch YouTube? He also answered honestly, yeah, I do. The girl asked again, so what do you usually watch? Daegun also didn't hide it. Probably videos about dogs and cats. Unexpectedly, after hearing that, the girl showed an expression of disbelief. Heavens, you really are an alien. Daegun foolishly asked again, what's an alien? The girl couldn't help but shake her head, exasperated. All right, let me explain it simply. Then she seriously explained to him. There are YouTubers who specialize in hunting for sensational, controversial stories. And there are also YouTubers who create their own sensational, controversial stories. Understand? After hearing that, Daegun seemed to understand the origin of the matter concerning his sister. So, it means my sister's case was fabricated by people making up untrue stories. The strange girl could only helplessly admit, unfortunately, that's right. Then she continued, and representing the YouTubers in the videos, they will investigate, search for evidence, even play the role of reporters to stage things. People call it having information. At this point, Daegun also understood. So, it means there are information brokers in this school. The girl also nodded. Yeah, but they're just low-level lackeys. Do you know the video interviewing the victim bullied by Ari? In that video, the victim used the fake name Lee Ye-hee, crying in front of the camera, I was always beaten for no reason. I really don't understand what I did wrong. Every day was very painful. The girl said to Daegun, that video was filmed in Ari's classroom, right? And the other things about Ari, they were all staged. Daegun, after hearing this, his eyes widened in astonishment. Hey, how do you know? The girl also confessed, I'm an insider. In your school, there's definitely an information broker. So Daegun also asked her, find them for me. His hand gripped his backpack tightly, gritting his teeth, his eyes filled with resentment, emphasizing each word clearly. I'll deal with all of them. Meanwhile, Min-jae called his boss. Hello, boss. Usually loud-mouthed in front of GD and Daekyun, but in front of his boss, he was timid and cowardly. Boss, have you seen the picture? His boss, on the other side, after seeing the secretly taken photo of the strange girl that he sent, also asked back, hey, are you really Min-jae? He also obediently replied, yes, it's me. Then the boss, with a full back tattoo, asked again, where was this picture taken? Min-jae also answered honestly and respectfully, yes, this girl has appeared in school for a few days and seems to be approaching Daegun. Something's not right. At this point, the boss asked again. Only then did he learn that the rumor about Ari bullying classmates was related to him. Hey, Min-jae, last time, how much did I pay you for the video interviewing the victim bullied by Ari? Min-jae on this side replied, yes, that time you paid a considerable amount. Unexpectedly, the boss ordered him, hey, prepare some of the largest sized uniforms. The boss revealed a wicked, terrifying face. I'll personally deal with that bastard. Yeah,